Now today I'm going to talk to you about internal cable routing. Now I've mentioned it before over the years. I'm not a real fan, and the reason I'm not a fan of it is not because that it it doesn't look good. Internal cables look great on a bike. There there may be an aerodynamic advantage to it. Aesthetically, it's really good. All that sort of stuff. However, I've seen so many steerers get damaged due to poor design of particularly the upper bearing retaining ring. Now, I don't know. I don't know anyone who's doing it really, really well at the moment out of the bikes I've seen. Seen lots of problems. Specialized had their recall with the SL7. Other brands have had recalls. It's just been problems. So it's one of those things where they've decided, okay, we're going to do this because it looks really cool and this is what the market wants and blah blah blah. But it hasn't been thoroughly tested. Now, I'm going to show you a bike that came in a little while ago, and this one was really not great. So it's a Flanders. I did contact the distributor in Australia, and I sent him a message outlining what I thought of this particular system and how it's less than ideal, and I haven't heard a reply. So I don't know whether he got my message or not, or doesn't care what I think. I don't know, but let's have a look at this one. This one was particularly bad, but it seems to be quite common this type of setup. So let's have a look at some of the pitfalls.
So this design is particularly bad because you've got this hard metal piece with pretty sharp corners. They've been deburred, but they're still pretty hard, sharp corners really when pressed up against the carbon steerer, as you'll see later on. And so that piece, it beggars belief. So then you've got this other little ring, which it's an adjustment shim, which sits on top of that other piece, and then that's going to just dig into the steerer as well because it's got a small point of contact, and then you've got like the whole cap on top, which then preloads it, and the cables run through, etc. So, this design is really less than ideal. And so this is the part sort of fully assembled. And so you can see that area at the front where the hoses and cables, etc., are going to go through. But the problem is you've got this real point load with a hard metal part with a hard corner right up against the relatively soft carbon steerer. Now I'll show you what happens when you have a bit of an impact on that. So as you can see, when that metal piece rotates under some force, it's just going to gouge into the soft carbon steerer and delaminate it and gouge it out. So it's gouged on both sides and delaminated on both sides, right where those hard corners of the metal piece are. So this is the alignment of that metal fitting up against the steerer. It's no coincidence there's Rouse yellow pencil there indicating a delamination, but it gets even better than that in terms of damage. So let's have a closer look. So you can see here that the area marked in Rouse yellow pencil is delaminated, but also the fibres, because it's laid up in a 0 degree unidirectional, the fibres have been delaminated and gouged and pulled and sheared away from the steerer. So it really is a nasty bit of damage, and you get your fingers, you get splinters, all sorts of stuff going on in there. So, and then you go to the other side, and there's also a big area of delamination and gouging as well. So because of that point load, due to those hard corners, you're just going to get a failure right at that point when you get any sort of frontal impact, because the piece, those hard edges of that piece, that metal piece, are on the forward edge. So when you have an impact at the front of the bike, it's really driving those pieces into the steerer.
So obviously it's not just this one system, which is bad. As I said previously, Specialized had a recall on the SL7. There's been a whole bunch of other recalls. But what I suggest you do, if you have a bike which has got internal cables, which most of them seem to have these days, on a regular basis, I suggest that you drop the fork out of the frame and inspect that area for damage, particularly around the compression ring, and also for where the hoses may rub against the carbon steerer and abrade the material away. So obviously one of the problems with the internal cables is that it's not a simple job to drop the fork. With the external cable, you can pull a fork out of the bike in a few minutes, if that. It's a really quick process. With all the cables going through, stems, handlebars, you don't have much extra hose length to play with, so it makes it a bit more complicated. However, I recommend that you do that on a regular basis, because if your fork steerer fails, the next thing to hit the ground may be your face, and you certainly don't want that. So let's just leave it at that for the moment, and check your forks for this sort of damage, and stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.